It's Tuesday. Oh, wait, no, it's Wednesday night. So you know what that means. The NXT guys are back for a post-show, a really post-show NXT review. I'm Hosier, that's Bear, and we are hashtag the NXT guys. Bear coming off a stellar edition of NXT last night where we had two, count them, not one, but two title changes as Charlie Dempsey regained the Heritage Cup and beat the Don. We had Lexis King defeat Eddie Thorpe again. We had Lola Vice defeat Tatum Paxley. Izzy Dame defeat Brenly Reese. Oba challenged Otis on Monday Night Raw and then went on to beat him in a very physical altercation last night. And then the main event, new tag team champions as the U. Chase U wins the tag team gold once again, but we start with the question of the night. Why, West? Why? Bear, welcome. Wednesday night, we're here reviewing NXT, and the question I have for you is why, West? Why?
Why, West? Why? This is one, I'm not going to lie, like, it's one that I didn't see coming.
No. Me either.
Like, I didn't see them doing this. I didn't think that this was something that I thought I feel like if this was something that they were really going to do, that we might get two or three title, title chances for MSK. And then maybe there's like this big breakdown like we saw last week. But yeah, it was interesting listening to Wes last night talk about why Wes, why, like hearing Wesley talk about, he's it's like, he went with this angle of like, I've constantly been let down by Zachary Wentz, but like, yes, Zachary Wentz was released by the WWE 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, breaking up what they're saying is one of the greatest NXT tag teams, or is the greatest NXT tag team, and leaving Wes behind. But it's not like Zachary abandoned him. Like he got released. Like, what are you gonna do? Tie up a pony? So it was interesting to see them play with that, to hear Wes kind of explain, that he's on to bigger and better things, which is something we've talked about in the past for Wesley.
Yes. Of
him, him leaving that North American title championship picture and moving into the NXT championship picture. I didn't envision this was going to be the way that they were going to do this.
Yeah. Good thing you told me why he was released, because I didn't know why Wentz was released.
Yeah.
In watching that promo live. Yeah. And I'm like, wrestling has to make sense.
Yeah.
It's not like Wentz just decided he was going to up and go to TNA. Right. Like, he was probably very happy in WWE, but he was released for things that allegations or, negative right. transgressions and whatnot. So that part didn't make sense until you told me that later in the evening. But when he lost to Oba back at Heatwave.
Yeah.
I had talked about him doing something like this.
Yeah.
A darker side of Wesley coming out because of the losing.
Right.
And what brought this on was losing the tag team title match, because he thought for sure, hey, I'm going to be tag champs with my best friend.
Right.
And his best friend. And we're all going to be best friends. But by the way, we're going to have tag gold. And when he lost the tag titles,
right,
he snapped. But they didn't really play into that too much.
Right.
It was more like, hey, you left me. I had to cover for you. I had to wake you up. I had to do this. I had to do that. So that's probably just setting up a match for them. But hopefully overall,
yeah,
it is a much more dark, sinister, obsessed Wesley that is coming out of this little story as he goes for, as he said, the NXT World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, that's interesting to me, because Wes has been such a baby face.
Yeah.
Like such a just want to get behind him and cheer for him. And I feel like if you watching that promo that he and listening to what he said last night, I don't feel like if we're going to do this, Like, we need to go far with this. Like, he needs to be a new person.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we got that.
Not yet.
Right.
I think it's still very new to him, and I don't think he has found that heel voice. Because there were still people cheering for him
Right.
in small parts of the promo.
Right.
So they're not fully over
Babyface
Wesley. Yes.
But that's part of his job then, right? Is to come out last night and make us want to hate him. And in the moments, there wasn't I would say there wasn't a moment last night that I was like, I hate Wesley. You know, it didn't feel very bad guy heel to me. It just felt
he was being more blunt and honest.
Yeah.
To what's his first name? Zachary Wentz.
Yeah.
Versus full blown heel.
Right.
And trying to get, that heat from the crowd or whatever.
But if we're going to do this, then let's do that.
Do that. Got to completely go for it. I completely agree.
100% go for it. Like just, I think you texted me, Dom, or you said to me, Dom Mysterio was just on the Impulsive podcast. And
he's
said to me,
always in character.
Always in character.
Always.
Like, literally, he is. And so it's that idea of like, we need to go with that. Like, if you want to get to that level of people hating you, like, go for it and get into it and get deep and make me hate you. But right now, I'm with you. I'm for the dynamic change. I'm all for it. Wrestlers can often get stagnant if they're if they don't reinvent themselves and their characters. So I'm all for the reinvention. I just want the reinvention. Yeah. I don't feel like we've gotten it yet.
So before the promo, talking about the NXT title, Ethan Page came out. He's now calling it NXT Me.
Oh, nice.
And he was cutting a promo. Joe Hendry comes out and says he wants to challenge for the NXT title. That finished, and then Wesley showed up at the very beginning of the show and super kicked Joe Hendry.
Oh, great.
And then kind of had a stare down because Ethan Page had already been out of the ring, and Wesley was kind of standing over Hendry.
Yeah.
And that right there. And then later in the night, the three of them ended up together brawling. No, Pete Dunne, Joe Hendry, and Wesley ended up brawling.
Right.
And now next week, there is a triple threat for the number one contendership.
Okay, so just to get back to this idea of like Wesley not pushing this far enough yet, to me, his actions right now are saying like super heel. His actions, super kicking Joe Hendry. The man is loved across the globe, and you super kick him in the face. Like, yeah, that's how you get people to hate you. But now I want the words and the promos and the talk to match the actions. And maybe that's why I'm a little uneasy about this switch right now, because the actions, the way that he super kicks Trey Miguel and then he low blows Zachary Wentz, and the way that he did that and then just destroyed them, like, I was like, okay, the action was good. The way you did was great. Like, it was intense, and I just don't think the words have matched.
Yeah, not yet. I definitely agree with that.
And I want them to.
Yeah. He's also got to find them.
He does. Like, we got to give him time, and it's Wesley, and I trust that he will. Otherwise, he'll just go back to being uber babyface, and everybody will love him again. So, like,
I hope not, because I really want to see him explore this, and I want to see how well he could do.
Seeing the dynamic, we talk about it all the time. One of the, there are certain pro wrestlers who are like timeless, i.e. a Chris Jericho, except for maybe now, or a Seth Rollins, who are people that the reason they're so good for so long is because their constant ability to reinvent themselves and what they're doing and create new characters. So I'm all for it. I'd love to see Wesley like get something new to really bite into. I just want him to bite into it now.
Like a Slim Jim.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
So we started off after the initial Ethan Page, Joe Hendry promo. New Heritage Cup champion.
Yeah.
In a very like mat style grappling wrestling match.
Yeah.
Definitely a Charlie Dempsey heavy match.
Right.
That I think the Don acclimated to very well.
Yeah.
It went the full
6 rounds.
Full 6 rounds.
Wow.
Some interference. Ren Sinclair motivated Charlie Dempsey. I think after the first fall, she got into the ring and she was just, doing the finger point, and then she just started smacking the crap out of him. Completely brought an energy and a vibe to the No Quarter Catch crew that was not there at all.
Oh, agreed.
Prior. And then he got the final pin, and he's the new Heritage Cup champ. Good match. Fun, different. Not a normal WWE wrestling match. This was very like roll-ups, arm bars, headlocks, stuff. Not the flippy floppy stuff that we're accustomed
with
to
NXT
seeing.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Which is number one, yes, very Charlie Dempsey style. Mo Malik, what's up, buddy? You're here. Thanks for being here, Mo. Appreciate you. 100% not the WWE, not the NXT style. Like, you have to understand, there are so many people. The coach, like, I just think, and I talk about this all the time. You're talking coaches in NXT: Matt Bloom, Steve Corino. Trying to think of the other coach. Those are the two big names that super heavy Japanese influence.
Yeah,
like, so that's why a lot of these guys like a JD McDonough, a Finn Balor, some of the other Shinsuke, like these guys flourished under those coats because that's just who they are in terms of that style. Pete Dunne was another one down at NXT. But what's interesting about the match being like this super like matte, like, is we expect that from Charlie Dempsey. Maybe people don't expect it from Tony D, but Tony D was like a D1 collegiate wrestler. Like, we forget that he's a real a wrestling athlete. And that's why him and Tavion Heights, like, I was so excited to see them at Great American Bash, or the first week, last week, whichever week it was, because two just like, amateur wrestlers going in there, very distinguished amateur wrestlers going in there to just do what they do best. So I'm really interested though that they did that with Charlie Dempsey, like, because here's the thing is, like, are we just gonna see this go back and forth, the Heritage Cup between the family and No Quarter Catch crew for a while? Like, is that what we're doing here, or is this a sign that Tony D might be on his way to bigger and better things again outside of the Heritage Cup?
Well, the NXT title picture is very crowded. So
maybe North American.
I was just going to say maybe North American, because Oba has been interrupting and cutting him off, and
he has been.
Oba's been in front of Tony D anytime he's been on the camera. Like, whenever he made that random walk through the Great American Bash, it was Tony D that was walking. Last night when he was in the Tony D had just lost, it was Oba that cut him off and said, Otis, you dare, or Otis, as he said, you challenge me for this, I will whatever to you. So they're already planting that, so it may be the North American,
which would be great. I mean, I'm trying, like, we talk about all the time, the North American title with Oba on it, like, being the champion. Like, who beats him? And it's a cool story, like to see, like, I think they could do a lot with Tony being the one to beat him, being the one to, like, slay the giant. Like, it's still, even though Tony's like a big dude, it's still very David and Goliath type storytelling. And you can really let the two of them have a lot of fun with that and go some really cool places. So that's interesting to me. But yeah, new Heritage Cup champ. And I'm totally with you on the Ren Sinclair. First of all, I hate the name No Quarter Catch. Please.
Way too long.
Get something different.
NQCC.
Yeah.
Still, factions need to be 3 letters or 2. You know, NWO, LWO, DX.
Like they could have just called them
Bullet Club.
Bullet Club. They could have just called themselves No Quarter. Like that would have
or
quarter.
The Catch Crew.
Or the Catch Crew, right? We don't have to combine these.
Like, yeah, what 4 words for a faction? I'm sorry, HBK. That doesn't fly.
Yeah, no, that's rough. But I do think it could be a lot of fun with them, with Ren Sinclair. I think she brings something to that group that is just like so needed because the 3 of them are so dry. They're such just
they're boring. Like, that's it. Tavion Heights is entertaining.
Yeah.
But the other 2.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Speaking of Ren Sinclair.
Yeah.
Another brilliant job by Ava, NXT general manager, creating jobs, creating opportunities for female athletes to get a shot at the NXT women's title by creating this gauntlet match.
Yeah.
This No Mercy gauntlet match.
Yeah.
Eliminator match.
Yeah.
So the 6 names, and the whole premise of it was they have never had an opportunity at the NXT women's title. So the 6 names are Ren Sinclair, Adriana Rizzo, Sol Ruca, Jada Parker, Kendall Gray, and Carmen Petrovich with a sword. So
Surf Ninjas got to wrestle each other? Oh, man.
Possibly, yes.
Aw.
Now, when you heard the names, one name stood out to you right off the bat.
Yeah. I said Jada Parker wins.
Yeah.
This. I think I don't think she beats Roxanne necessarily, but I think it's the right time to kind of ride this wave of Jada Parker in popularity, and just she's incredible in the ring. She's her attitude, the way she carries herself, her character is very good. I'm all for it. And so I think it's just time to ride this wave to give her the opportunity to take on Roxanne. And to challenge for that title. I think it would be a great match. I think the 2 of them would have an awesome match at No Mercy. And so to me, it's the logical choice, but I will qualify that with this. Any of the 6 women in there, I think would have a really good match with Roxanne.
Yeah.
And B, again, it's not necessarily about who beats Roxanne. It's simply about putting them in the ring with Roxanne to elevate that person to that. It's a question of who's ready for that. I think Jada is the most ready, but I think any of the 6 women are probably ready to be a constant name in that main event and title.
I'm going to throw in a wild card. I agree with everything you just said. Kendall Gray.
Yeah.
They seem, without any reporting or anything, to be very high on her. I mean, since Heatwave.
Yeah.
She's been on TV every week.
Yep.
She's constantly in matches. She tossed the Miles Bourne across the, on the outside of the ring. So she's my wild card to win and to go on to No Mercy.
That's a good one. That's a good wild card. That's interesting. Talk about how to get someone, quote unquote, over real quick. What's interesting to me about Kendall Gray is there was so much hype behind Carly Bright, and there was so much fanfare for Carly Bright. And I'm not saying that she hasn't delivered, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be that hype. But it's almost like I would have half expected Carly Bright to be in that spot. Yeah. Because Kendall Gray did not get the same introduction.
No, she just showed up.
She showed up with Carly Bright.
Yeah.
She was coming out to the ring with her, just showed up, and now all of a sudden she sees herself in this gauntlet match, and I'm there. It's an interesting dark horse. I don't believe that the WWE would do that. I don't think HBK would do that. But put her out there. Put her out there first. Let her go through all sit like let Jada be last, put Kendall out there first, let Kendall go out and show, can she handle a match like that and going from first to the last, and then let her lose in the end. We would become so invested.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Just that, like, oh, she was so close. We would fans would become so invested in that. So it's an interesting dark horse. I like the pick.
She's on to something there.
She is.
We had a really nice promo from Trick Williams. They're big on this whole figure it out thing. Pete Dunne to Trick Williams is constantly figure it out. The one during Great American Bash, I think it was the first week, where Pete Dunne talked about being on the bus, getting jumped. Trick Williams had a similar story growing up, I believe, outside of Philly. So he's also wants his NXT title back, but he wants another match with Pete Dunne, and that was kind of the gist of the promo. Very well produced, very well written.
Yeah.
And I think he delivered. If you get a chance, it's online. Definitely go watch it. But then some other matches, Lexis King, Eddie Thorpe, all those, they were good. There was not a bad match on the card last night. But Oba versus Otis was fun.
Yes.
Meat slapping Tuesdays. As
Tuesdays.
Oba wins, which again, who beats him?
Who? Big E comes back and beats Oba Femi.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I would cry. That's a great question. Who beats Oba Femi?
I don't think it's going to be a one-on-one contest that beats him. Or if it is, it's going to be like, and I keep using Roman Brock at SummerSlam,
right?
Where it's going to take the tables, the chairs. It's going to be like a last man standing type thing where, or it's going to be a fatal 4-way and the other three just decide we're going to take him out of the match.
Yeah. And
then we'll have a triple threat amongst the three of us, whoever that might be.
Yeah.
In order to beat him. Because I can't see anyone going to the ring one-on-one and it being believable that
they I can see them doing it with Tony. I could believe that Tony could beat him because Tony's been in you could tell this really cool story of how Tony has been in these spots before. He wasn't supposed to beat Ilya at WrestleMania and he didn't. Or at Stand and Deliver for WrestleMania weekend. He's been in these spots where he shouldn't win and sometimes he doesn't, but sometimes he pulls it off. And I think fans are super invested in Tony.
Yeah.
He's a fan favorite. They love him. The question really just becomes, how do you make the story? So I don't see Tony beating him the first time.
No.
I see this. You should make this 2 to 3 matches over the course of, do the first one at No Mercy. They're most likely going to do one of these. I would assume that between No Mercy and Halloween Havoc at the end of October, we'll probably see one of these special, NXT nights, the theme night. Do a second one there, and then do a third one at Halloween Havoc for your first PLE on not that the PLE will be on CW, but the first PLE following your debut on the CW. And let Tony win there. And, it's kind of like what they did with Wes. Wes got multiple chances and then can't challenge for the title anymore. But, they didn't let Wes win, but let Tony win there. In the matches, too, because you can tell this story of, Tony learning and Tony figuring out what it's going to take to beat him. And then finally he does. And it's a very Rocky. That's the way you tell this story, Rocky 4, with the big Russian, right? That's Drago. Yeah. So that's how you tell that story. And I think it'd be believable.
Now the Iron Survivor, or no, what match is the breakout contract?
That's a tournament. They do multiple.
Now that's just completely new people that we put them on.
Usually, yeah. Lola, that's where Oba won the breakout tournament and his contract.
And then he can cash it in at any point for a title match.
Just like Money in the Bank. Yeah,
okay.
Up to a year.
So maybe there's someone new, because that's coming up too. That, and I think Iron Survivor is coming up as well.
Iron Survivor should be coming up in December.
It's December?
That's usually when they do it, like the first week of December. So,
Okay.
So yeah, Iron Survivor is another opportunity. You could do Iron Survivor for the North American title, and then that's how you could do it without Oba actually. Here's the thing: is I will tell you this: if we see Oba lose the title around that time, it's because he'll be in the Rumble and he's going to the main roster.
It'll happen quick.
Like,
yeah,
that's 100%. Like, he'll be in the Royal Rumble, he'll be entrant number whatever, and then he'll be on the road to WrestleMania on the main roster and doing that. So it's so they have so many people. Their roster is so deep. But yeah, it's just the way you tell the story. I think Tony can do it.
And then lastly, the main event.
Oh boy.
Tag team titles change hands as Ridge Holland delivers.
Chase U getting the win. Ridge Holland, Andre Chase. I will say I didn't expect that one.
It was a matter of time. I've been waiting for these titles to change hands since, well, honestly, Heatwave.
Yeah.
So
they should have changed hands at Heatwave. Like I was, or like even at the Bash last week, with like they should have done that with MSK. But it was a great match.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Ridge Holland delivering, and then they get a Super Bowl celebration at the end.
Yeah, definitely overblown celebration, but it was fun.
No, great. Yeah, no, really good match. Really happy to see Gold back on campus at Chase U. The question is, we keep like getting this. To be honest with you, like last night I had this sense of like Ridge Holland. This is where Ridge Holland screws Chase U.
Yeah, feels like it's coming.
It feels like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's just like, where is it going to happen? Now they're tagged like...
Or is it going to be Duke Hudson?
And that would be really interesting. That would be really interesting because Duke, Duke's been down since day one with Chase U. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't want to wait and see. I want to know now, but I'm not on the NXT writing team. So.
And then next week, we'll know both the NXT women's title match for No Mercy and the men's title match
Triple
for
threat. Yep.
No Mercy. So big card next week.
Yes, sir. That's everything. That's the review.
That's everything. That was last night. Next.
Overall, really good episode of NXT.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was going to be hard to follow. I thought we had two really great nights of the Great American Bash. So it's great to see that they didn't go into like...
And nothing impromptu.
They
stuck to the script.
They stuck to we didn't have to add... That's what makes Ava the best general manager in all of professional wrestling. She needs to get drafted to Raw or SmackDown.
She needs to stay in NXT. We don't need Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis in NXT. Chaos will break out.
Yeah, so...
All right. Well, I think we're done.
I think we're done too.
All righty.
That's Hosier. I'm Bear. We are the NXT guys. WrestlePool. WrestlePool for life.